Hello and welcome to this week's episode of the Stock Market Update brought to you by Conservative ETF Investor. I'm your host. My name is Ken. Today's date is October 8th, 2017. And here we are at the Conservative ETF Investor homepage. Once I get done with this video, I'll upload it right here so you can click on this link in order to gain access to it. Here's our current recommendation scrolling down on the home page. And the most important thing I want you to notice is that our current posture is a hold recommendation across all of our positions. And that's it for that. You can always pause and come back to this to look at all of our transaction dates, prices on the transaction dates, and the current price, and our profit and loss on each position, and it tells you everything right here. The portfolio, since inception of our buy dates, has gained 11.63%, not including dividends. And since just for calendar year 2017, the portfolio has gained 7.73%. Okay. So that is how well the portfolio has fared. Again, that's not including dividends. And if you want to know what the dividends are, you just come back over to here, and it tells you the total of all the dividends is 2.09%. And it tells you where those dividends have come from. As you can see, most of those dividends has come from VNQ. A total of 4.82% has come from VNQ. Okay, so you would add that 209 onto your 7 to give you your total, but actually the 209 goes back to since the inception, so you'd add that on to 11.63, add 2 to that, and then that would be your total return, but that would be since the inception dates. The inception dates are basically November of 2016. All right, so about 11 months ago. All right, so that's that. Now we want to get to our charts. The first chart that we want to look at is the S&P 500. So here we have a 40% allocation. This is symbol SPY. This is the S&P 500 ETF traded on the New York Stock Exchange, had a very nice week, positive gain of 1.25%. We use 5-year charts here, and each one of these is a 1 week. Each candlestick here, this is one candlestick, is a 1 week candlestick. So this represents 1 week of data, so the previous week. This particular candlestick being white, you know that it opened here and it closed here. Here you can see it. This is called the thumbnail, and this is the actual chart itself. Positive. You can see that we are trading in this upward trading channel. We've been in this channel for years now, and it's just continuing on with this. We use 2 momentum indicators. We use the MACD, which is the top one here at default settings, and the slow stochastics at default settings. The MACD has bottomed and has crossed above its signal line, which is positive. The slow stochastics is above 80 and currently above its signal line, although it looks like it has topped and is going to travel back towards its signal line. But all in all, a bullish posture for SPY. Let's look at our next chart, which is going to be VEU. VEU is the Vanguard All World excluding United States ETF traded on the New York Stock Exchange, had a positive week, gaining 0.36% for the week. And here, the chart is a little bit more complex, where we were trading in this wedge pattern, but the ETF being so bullish broke out about here, kind of dangled back and forth, moving sideways, and then boom, up again, and then a little bit of sideways movement, and then boom, up again, and this is where we're at right now. It looks like we're in this new trading channel right here that's established for not too long now. But this angle is a pretty steep angle. These are the reaching for the sky. I'm expecting some type of a pullback here in this ETF eventually. But the stock market is very, very strong right now. So anyways, we gained 0.36% for the week in VEU. Our momentum indicators for the MACD is pretty much flat, just kind of going back and forth. And the slow stochastics is above 80, but below its signal line, almost parallel to its signal line. So it's all bullish activity here. So until we see otherwise, we're going to stay in this position. That's VEU. Let's move on to the next one, which is VNQ. VNQ is your real estate position. This is the Vanguard REIT, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trust. This is where you get your 4.74% annual yield from your dividends. Had a positive week, gaining 0.25% for the week. Now, on this particular ETF, you can see we have been traveling back and forth inside of this range, and the range is tightening. So this thing's going to break one way or the other. Right now, the momentum indicators for the MACD are kind of neutral, and for the slow stochastics, it's below 80 and it's below its signal line, so that's not good. But the chart itself has bottomed, and if you look at this week's action here, which is this candlestick with what they call a doji, because this is right, the action stopped right in the middle, kind of tail up, tail down. And that was after we experienced some downward pressure here. You can see that we made a higher low than the previous low. And it's coming off of a support line here, which leads me to believe we're going to come back up to this upper trend line here. So that's my expectation. My expectation is to see this slow stochastic bottom and turn up. You can see the momentum overall is kind of pushing upward. The only thing to do is to wait to see if this support holds and if we do travel up. Again, hold recommendation. Our next ETF, which is actually not an ETF, this one is a mutual fund. And that is because this particular mutual fund, I can't find an ETF of matching qualities. This is what I call an income fund. And this one produces 4.63% yield annually. And you can see the nice, steady, slow, predictable outcome of this, and it's doing fine. The MACD is softening while this is just continuing on with its slow, steady advance. So it had a positive week, gaining 0.18% for the week. And the MACD is again softening, and the slow stochastics here is above 80 and just kind of bouncing back and forth, showing you its bullishness because it's just completely bullish. That's it for the charts for the positions. Now we have two more charts that I want to look at. The first one is the VIX. The VIX is your volatility indicator for pretty much the S&P 500. Now this is an inverse chart, meaning that as this goes down, the S&P 500 goes up. So here I've got a chart of the S&P 500 at the bottom. You can see as this goes up, the volatility indicator known as the VIX travels down. So right now you can see that I have two moving averages here. You see I got the blue, which is the 50-day exponential moving average, and the red is the 200-day exponential moving average. So the blue is the fast, the red is the slow. You can see that the 50 is below the 200 and the volatility indicator is below both. All of this creates a bullish environment, a non-threatening environment for the S&P 500, allowing the S&P 500 to advance. The only area of concern is that we are at extreme low levels. So when you reach extreme low levels, meaning you can't really go any lower because you're at extreme low levels, the only place for it to go is up. And when it goes up, the S&P 500 will either go down or travel sideways. This is one bull market that just is not looking back, so we'll see what happens here. But the volatility indicator from today's information tells you invest in stocks in the S&P 500. Now the last one is the VXN. Now we don't have a position in. This is the volatility indicator for the NASDAQ 100, and the ETF in that is QQQ. Now, it's the same principles are implied with the VIX as the VXN, meaning that it's an inverse chart. We, by the way, on the volatility indicators, we use daily charts. You can see the word daily right there, and 1-year time frame. As opposed to the other charts, we use weekly and 5-year time frame on the charts. So here you can see that the blue just crossed below the red. That is bullish for QQQ, and the indicator is trading below both of these. The indicator is below both of those, indicating that it's going to pull that faster moving average down with it faster. Again, a bullish environment for the NASDAQ 100. Here's the NASDAQ 100 chart right below. And we still have a ways to go for this one to reach extreme lows too on the NASDAQ 100. So this has room to fly. But pretty much that's all of my charts for today. Again, I'm your host. My name is Ken, and that is today's stock market update for the week. And I'll have a link for this at the bottom of the YouTube video as well. And that's it. Enjoy.